Hello everybody, this is the Wikstrand. So, when I watch movies, I do watch them sometimes without knowing anything about the plot, or in this case, I didn't know anything about the genre. The only thing I know about this movie was, it was a French movie from 1938. And I watched it, and when I had been watching it for about 15-20 minutes, I still had no idea what this movie was going to be about. Let's take a look at this one, shall we? This movie, it has a lot of trains in them. You could actually argue that there is a little bit too much trains in this one, because there is a lot of trains going back and forth to Le Havre. That's a city on the Atlantic coast, if I'm not entirely mistaken. But as I said, for about 15-20 minutes, I had no idea what this movie was going to be about. Because we hadn't really set up any conflict. And as we know, we need conflicts to make movies work. And I thought we had the conflict coming up when the station manager, who is apparently, our main character, has an altercation with a rich sugar baron, I think he was, when he tells him that you cannot bring a dog on this train. And the sugar baron says that I'll get you for this because I'm a sugar baron and I know people. Who are you? You're a lousy station manager, or something like that. I thought at that moment, oh, this is going to be one of these, oppressed working class movies where the working class are the equivalent of Jesus combined with Mother Teresa, and the bosses and the evil capitalist is the equivalent of Hitler. He also was a pedophile. But apparently that is not so, because it is not the station manager who kicks in the plot of this movie, it's the station manager's wife. It turns out that she has had an affair, or actually keep having an affair, with a much older man, which, the station manager really gets cross about. I didn't understand that particular bit. You're not exactly a spring chicken, Mr. Station Manager. You're, what, 15-20 years at least, her senior, but we'll let that one slide, the time period and all that stuff. But he gets so obsessed with this that he plots to kill, her lover, and they do that on the train with her as an unwillingly participant / witness, you could say. So now we have a kind of a murder plot going on here, but it is not, a murder story in the traditional way, because, well, we know who the killer is and we know why he was killed. But that is also not the case, because this, kind of separates them and tightens them together at the same time, because at the same time as this is happening, she also has true feelings for a man named Jacques, who has a problem with his temper and can sometimes be, turned into mad rage. We shall see how that affects the plot later. As I said, this movie has a lot going on for itself. I like the character. I think the acting is absolutely great. The problem is that it takes so long time for this movie to actually going, and we have too many sequences of trains going back and forth that has no implication on the plot whatsoever. I also thought for a second, where we were kind of at the half point of the movie, oh, I know where we're going with this one. This is gonna be great. Unfortunately, they kind of didn't do that, because you can have a murder mystery where there is no mystery that actually works. Knives Out is an excellent example of that. But it is more kind of a romantic drama with some film noirish, bits to it. I found the story very fascinating. I found the time period very fascinating, and as I said, I like the characters. The problem is that this movie has a very deflating and very boring and very uninspiring endings. I think that there is a lot of people who really like this ending. I can understand them. It just wasn't for me. So, should you see this movie? Hard to say. This isn't exactly, your classical murder mystery or a, film noir or something like that, but it is a fascinating story and a fascinating tale. It has a lot of moving cogs that on paper should work together excellently. Now, it isn't working as well as it should have. In the end, I think this movie is quite okay. I just think with a better ending, this one could have been a really good one. Now I just think it is a okay movie. I give this movie 46 points. It is excellently acted, I like the characters, I like the time period, as I said. There's just too many trains in this movie, there's just too many unnecessary sequences that could have been cut. And as I said, I didn't like the ending. Sometimes French movies doesn't really work for me simply because how they're structured and how they tell their stories. Maybe it was just kind of the fact that I really wanted this movie to be something else than it rather was. Maybe it is unfair to review the movie I wanted it to be rather than the movie I got, but hey ho, what you gonna do? I still think this movie has some bits to it that was really, really good, and it had some interesting ideas that I thought that they could have done more with, but what do I know? So I'll see you next time for, well, so-and-so reviewing, well, such and such. Thank you for watching, thank you very much!